Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you some basics of using GitLab along with Git for version control. You'll see that I'm already at the GitLab homepage, gitlab.com. If you don't have an account with GitLab, you can create one by clicking register, or if you have one already, you can click sign in. It takes you to a very similar page where you can sign in or register. I'm going to go ahead and sign in here, and it's going to take me to my GitLab homepage. You'll see that I have my favorite projects, starred projects. You can explore projects in the rest of the system, or you can look at all of your projects. I have quite a few. You will probably have none. Once we've done this, we're going to go to New Project and create a new project for this demo. We give every project a project name. Instead of My Awesome Project, I'm going to call this Yet Another Demo. You'll see that this becomes part of our project URL automatically, which will be gitlab.com, our username, and then our project slug. You can add a description if you like, and I always suggest you keep your repositories private until you are ready to make them public. I also suggest you don't initialize with a readme. It does give you a nice template, but it can cause problems for people at different points. So we're going to go ahead and create this project. And once we do, we're taken to this wonderful project home screen. The nice thing here is that it gives us many command line instructions to set up our project. We can add a readme, add a changelog, add a contributing file, all these things, which are very, very nice. The first thing you should do is if you've never used Git before on your computer and you have installed it at this point, at the command line you should run each of these commands in order. I've done this previously, so I'm not going to do it here. The second thing I suggest is that you go through the steps of create a new repository. The first step here is to say git clone. I can use this command at my command line. You'll see my present working directory is /user/greenr, just my home directory. You can change to any directory you want using the cd command to put your repository in any location on your computer. Here we'd use the git clone command. The address given in this git clone command is currently set up for SSH, as I have that set up. I'm not going to cover that in this video, but if you have not set a SSH, all you need to do is replace that with the HTTPS address. You'll see I click this button here under clone. I can look at clone with HTTPS. I will copy that value and I can simply put it over here. This will allow me to clone my project or download from my local or from the remote server at GitLab to my local computer. If I use HTTPS, it will ask me for my username and password. In my case, I do not want to do this. I already have my SSH keys set up, so I'm going to go ahead and use the exact command that we have sitting here. Now, you'll see when I press enter, it says cloning yet another demo. It says I've cloned an empty repo. That's okay. In this directory, you will see that we now have yet another demo. If I don't want this to be called yet another demo, I can clone the repository and give it another name. I'll just call this named project here. You'll see if I hit enter, I'll list my directories again, and we have named project. Now I don't want to use named project, so I'm going to remove that directory from my computer, and I'm going to go ahead and follow the next command, cd yet another demo. Fantastic. We're here. We're in the right directory. All is well. We can go ahead and follow the rest of these commands straight down. Touch is a command on Linux. It should work on Windows PowerShell as well. What this does is simply touch a file. So if the file does not exist, it creates it. If it does exist, it updates the timestamp. Now that we've cloned and we have a file existing, we can use the git status command to see what's happening in our repository. You'll see that here we have no commits yet. We have an untracked file and there's nothing to commit. Though the first thing I want to do is add this readme file. So I will type git add readme. Using the add command simply means that Git should pay attention to this file. Now if I use my status command, you'll see it shows up as a new file in green. Once I've added my new file, I don't want to take any chances in losing it. So the first thing I'm going to do is run a commit. I always run git commit -am. The A means add, the M means add a message. We want to use meaningful commit messages, so I will say created readme.md file. Now that we've committed, we can look at our status. Your branch is based on origin master, nothing to commit. This says, but the upstream is gone. Okay? You can ignore this for the moment, and you can go back and look at the next command that we have to follow. Touch readme, git add readme, git commit -m. See, they don't use the A, but the A will give you some safety at this point in time. Finally, we want to do a git push -u origin master. What this does is this pushes or copies our repository from our local computer back up to GitLab. A push isn't quite as clean as just an upload. It actually checks for changes, and if changes have been made on GitLab, we would have to pull those first to update our own local files. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and push these. You'll see everything's been set. We've pushed everything up, and if we go back to our repository and refresh, there we go. We have our README file. It is an empty file, and we are in good shape.